Go into Infernal Shrines here. Game 1 of the final series of the day. First pick is in the hands of Oxygen. What's up, Fish?
I wouldn't even, for sandbagging, it might not even be intentionally playing bad. It could also just be not picking counters that you would normally play, just playing the same comp you have always played, just not showing your hand, because for Oxygen, people know that they play Hammer. So if they pick Hammer, they're not showing something they haven't shown. So it's just missing a step further that I would mean with sandbagging. I wouldn't imply that teams are going to end this one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Sandbagging, when I think of sandbagging, I don't necessarily think of like, oh, they're going to lose on purpose. I think they're going to take special care not to show anything out of the ordinary, not to reveal any secret strats or techs before leading into some very important games.
Yeah, I mean, so far, Blaze at Lucio ban, both very standard. There is Yasuo, so Lucio makes sense. Blaze just incredibly solid. Also, Oxygen likes Hammer.
Oxygen liking the Hammer is no surprise there. Nick absolutely terrorizing the SL ladder with it. Hasuab's also able to do it in the past. Implying sub is at full power. Weird. That's just factually correct, that a sub is not going to be the same in terms of chemistry as having your full roster. A double healer ban right here. A little bit of a healer choke coming out from Chili Mountain leading into this game. Maev and Blaze taken away on the side of Oxygen, who first pick Junkrat, a strong overall pick on Infernal Shrines.
But also talking about the two support bans that we see, these are the same two bans we saw them play yesterday. They're two cleanse supports, and then they picked a Kerrigan later, because Kerrigan, if the target cannot get cleansed, you're much more likely to find one-shots. So I would not be surprised to see a Kerrigan in the second half of the draft.
Yeah, Kerrigan's certainly a terror, always on Infernal Shrines, a hero that just has so much burst threat. If you even misstep towards a bush just the wrong way, all of a sudden, oh no, where'd all my health go? And then also that, you leave her on the shrine for a few seconds, oh no, where'd all the Shrine Guardians go? Her ability to clear out the shrine, her ability to scale into those late game deletions while still having kill pressure from the very start of the game, and of course there's always some room for some fancy footwork. I still remember in last week, I believe it was, where Mindhawk hit the combo over the wall onto Tai before jumping the wall for the kill finish in an Inting for Ruby game. You know what I'm talking about, Fish?
Oh, I don't remember which one, but he does that. I'm pretty sure we saw the same thing yesterday from Ultralisk also multiple times. But
Ultralisk is just cracked.
Kerrigan is already pretty rough into Brightwing Johanna, though. So I'm not entirely sure that that's where it's going.
It could be there. I'm never going to 100% claim to know what teams are going to pick, unless it's kind of like last situation where the Tychus was incredibly obvious into the late pick Diablo Leoric, like what we were talking about with Cavalier Guest. Leoric, though, will be banned out by the members of Chili Mountain. I'm wondering what exactly does that indicate to you? Because I'm really struggling to pick up what that could mean for the members of Chili Mountain. Is it just a preference ban? Is it because they're holding something? What's going on there, Fish?
Yeah, I'm also not really sure. So Leoric, usually you punish something like a Diablo who has a high health pool and maybe more conditional mobility, or something like a Johanna that doesn't have mobility, but the Johanna is already gone. I mean, the Diablo still looks very good for the blue team, because the red team, Junkrat, doesn't really pressure a Diablo. Yeah. So that is what we see. So I guess that's what that was about. But if you have the Anduin can just always pull out of the Entomb, so I'm not sure it would have been that big of a deal. I don't know a lot about offlane matchups, so I don't know if Leoric Hogger is Leoric favored. I wouldn't think so.
It's an interesting decision to take it away, but I'm sure Chili Mountain has their reasons after doing so well in Masters Clash. And Oxygen, they get the hammer banned out away so frequently, but they're gonna get it this time. Not restricted this time. Nick picking up the hammer once more. Copenhagen going to be on that Yrel. One last pick available for Ultralisk. Ultralisk often a melee player, very gifted at that, but we'll see what he does in the wake of this hammer pick right here. Fish, I am getting some echo, by the way, with my mic through you that's coming onto the stream, just so you're aware of it. If there's any way we could potentially trim it down. Nazeebo going to be the pick by Ultralisk.
Yeah, just give me a second. I can check if the correct mic is being used.
Gotcha. Alrighty, Nazeebo, one thing that I wonder about, specifically in the Sergeant Hammer matchup, and this is something we'll get to check right as soon as the game starts, is are we going to see a Thing of the Deep at level 1, looking for that extra range to help Nazeebo reach the Sergeant Hammer and land those abilities onto her, or are we going to see more of the normal, potentially a spider build is very, very common. We also saw Unaverted going super jank in CCL Season 1, with a very hybrid Nazeebo build. A lot of different options available right there. That's going to be what I'm checking as soon as we get through load screen.
Okay, is this better?
It sounds pretty similar when you're talking. No, I'm hearing the exact same echo when I speak.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Oh well, it's just something we're gonna have to live with. It's not the end of the world as we wait to get into this series after so much denial of the Hammer. Hammer just constantly getting banned away by Oxygen week after week after week, and then now finally getting to play it here. In this game of all games, this is something special for me. I want to see what Nick can do. Nick always, in his games, able to just be such a pest in those side lanes, able to flex his build as necessary, able to just get that permanent split push. It's going to be huge here in this game.
So I'm a bit wondering about Chili Mountain letting Nick have the hammer. If this is like a test for them, can we let Nick have the hammer? Can we deal with this? Maybe they even had this Nazeebo counter pick prepared, because I think in HGC Nazeebo with Q-Build was played into Hammer too, so I think this might be a bit of a test of tech to see if this works.
We do see Widowmaker's going to be picked up by Nazeebo, not looking for the Thing of the Deep for that extra range, instead just investing into those spiders. On the right side of your screen for Oxygen Esports, though, we have Copenhagen going to be playing that Yrel, Bad Benny on Johanna, Hasuabs on Junkrat, Yasu playing Brightwing, and Nick already headed for that side split push on the Sergeant Hammer. Who do we have for Chili Mountain Fish?
We have Masca on Diablo, we have Dequaza on Hogger, we have, they're all working for each other, Banana on Anduin, we have Dino on Hanzo, and we have Ultralisk on Nazeebo.
A little bit of wave blocking right there, looking like they're playing Dota out here from the members of Chili Mountain. Nick already contributing, just clearing out this top side, getting a little bit of chip damage on it. Ultralisk gonna step up and match him immediately, not allowing Nick to go for that. Rather than having their offlane go up against the Sergeant Hammer, having the Nazeebo step up here. Bad Benny getting chunked a bit by Chili Mountain, taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Bad Benny dropping very low, will go down. Banana H hitting the B-step after the first blood already. You love to see it, folks. Punishing that right there. Nazeebo taking a bit of damage from the Copenhagen rotation towards topside, and Hogger utilizing that high camp clear advantage, able to clear out this bot camp right here. Nick cycling out of top lane. If that Nazeebo's going to stay there, then Nick just rotating all the way down, despite not having a map. Does take a while. I'm going to get started with the siege camp for the members of Oxygen.
Yeah, I actually really like from Chili Mountain that they did this lane swap to put the Nazeebo into the top lane, because he doesn't really have an early game, and the Hogger is really good at doing camps, so you really want him to have to have him in the lower half of the map early. But I'm not entirely sure why Hammer was top. Maybe they expected the Hogger to be top and that to be a favorable matchup, but
that's what we've often seen, is Nick just absolutely bullying side lane against those laners. The Nazeebo late pick, though, I'm really liking the interaction so far with the Hammer, not allowing Nick to do that. Nick is going to get a bit of chip damage on this bot wall, but here comes the rotation from Ultralisk and Diablo. Ultralisk tried to land the zombie wall. Nick popping the boosters, though, will be able to get right on out of there. Bad Benny clearing mid, and the rest of the members of Oxygen Esports now clearing out their own bruiser camps here. Nazeebo yet to land a spider so far in the game. 0 stacks on that Widowmaker's level 1.
I mean, it's not really that easy to land early. The Hammer shouldn't really be sieging in your face, and you really want to throw your Q at waves to clear them, to stack a bit. So
Oh, there we see some spiders coming out from Nazebo. He got 3 stacks, must have landed something onto Bad Benny there in the bottom lane. Both teams stepping up, looking to control this first objective. We are going to see the regenerative biosteel, not the siege mechanics coming out from the Sergeant Hammer, going for lifesteal rather than unstoppable, and just already pressuring out this topside lane.
I mean, the lifesteal is something we've been seeing a lot more recently. So what you do is you play on level 1 this increased area, and on level 4 the lifesteal. And it's just really good for solo laning. It's also really good for the shrine. You actually heal a lot. For example, the bigger area on 1 also has synergy with the attack speed on 20 because it just says heroes hit. So if you have a larger splash radius, you also stack that quicker. So it's very interesting to see this new tech for the build.
Objective so far advantaged for Oxygen in terms of clear. Level 7, Chili Mountain having an advantage for just a moment here. Nick missing a bit of HP. Level 7's now achieved for both teams here. Oxygen only 7 Guardians away from finishing this out, and there's going to be the first pause of the series. Ultralisk lag. You know, what a surprise. We've never seen that one before.
Yeah, I mean, he almost lasted 4 minutes without technical difficulties. That might be a new record.
I remember once asking, in one of the first Masters Clash series that I ever commentated, there was this extended long pause and no explanation offered in the chat whatsoever as we see Copenhagen diving in onto multiple members of Chili Mountain. Concussion Mine offering a bit of disruption, but Urel will be the first to go down on this objective. 2nd kill overall. Now Chili Mountain 2 kills to Oxygen 0. Nick stepping up to push behind this objective. And I gotta say, what was I saying before? I was talking about the pause in one of my first Masters Clash games ever, and they're just sitting there, everybody paused, no explanation offered in the chat, and I'm like, what's going on? And chat told me, they said, Mockery. Everybody knows that this is because of Ultralisk Wi-Fi. Alright, we know exactly what's going on. Now,
I mean, it is usually they offer like an explanation that they say it like this, but sometimes they just, I mean, it just happens so often, sometimes they just don't say it because everybody does know what's going on.
And now here the members of Chili Mountain cycling down to the bottom siege, but here's a 5-man invade. This is setting up to be a full 5-on-5 between these two teams. Masquerade jumping onto Nick for a moment. Masquerade does use the soul shield now, getting that 75 spell armor for a moment, but this fight is happening nearly entirely within Sergeant Hammer's attack range, which is just so much damage, absolutely too much for the members of Chili Mountain to handle. Oxygen with the successful invade onto siege camp.
I mean, also Hammer just hit her power spike. Level 7 is when she starts actually playing the game, so that's the perfect timing for them to look for something like this.
Quaza now spinning on out of there with that Hog Wild. Notably, Nick going straight to this top side, looking to get that ship pressure already in that hover siege mode, picking up the soak. We see Copenhagen zoning out Ultralisk, delaying the anti-siege for just a moment right here. Ultralisk going to throw those spiders onto Nick, but honestly, Nick with his lifesteal doesn't really care. He's able to just ignore the damage and continue chipping pressure onto this top side, able to push Quaza away before getting potentially banged into the wall. Shockwave will land on Nick despite an attempt with the boosters to dodge the damage. Phase shift coming out to Nick on the side as well. Level 10's now achieved for both teams. Meanwhile, while Oxygen was pressuring topside and drawing members of Chili Mountain over, they did manage to take the bottom neutral siege camp as well. A relatively even game in experience, but Oxygen having notable siege advantages to start the game.
I mean, this was definitely a very nice play by Oxygen because Chili Mountain hit 10, like a solid 10 to 15 seconds before them. We even saw Hogger look for the shockwave while they had the talent lead. But Chili Mountain didn't just not get anything. They also lost the siege camp and bot, and they're still losing the prio game all over.
Ultralisk. Ultralisk wise to the rotations of Oxygen, aware that the kill threat was a possibility, used the Toads to scout it out, and now Masquerade here, body blocking Bad Benny for a second, who gets hit by the Dragon Arrow mid-flip. Light Bomb also gonna hit. Literally everything's just going on to Bad Benny, who will fall after Chili Mountain tosses everything but the kitchen sink at them. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Hasuab's getting split push pressure with that Junkrat. The Ultralisk rotation down. Hasuab's now starting to retreat, not wanting to to get caught after getting a bit of chip damage on the opposite side of the map as well. Oxygen Esports now doing their bruiser camp just before this next objective. Chili Mountain not going to have time to do the same, just going to go straight to the objective, meaning this bruiser camp will get significant split push value as this objective comes along.
I mean, there's a good chance that the Nazeebo still remains somewhat topside to clear it. The rest of his team... Yeah, no, actually, I thought that Johanna would be too late for the respawn for the objective, but the blue team barely got any spells in that time. And Nazeebo is top, so it looks like the blue team even has to skip.
Ooh, and there, hold on, is a very aggressively positioned Dequaza on the Hogger, gets polymorphed and forced to Leap of Faith right on out of there, thanks to a timely pull by Banana H. Nazeebo now starting to rotate in. Hold on, that's a Dragon Arrow onto two members of Oxygen's backline, immediately followed up by Ravenous Spirit over the wall. The damage follow-up is massive from Ultralisk. Light Bomb going out onto Urel, setting up the damage onto Copenhagen. He will be able to Ardent Defender in time. Hogger goes down. It's a 1-for-1 between these two teams, but a Punisher in favor of Oxygen, certainly overall in their favor. Masquerade stepping forward aggressively, dropping down to about 30% HP. Nick now stepping up forward with this Siege tank. Bad Benny going on to Dino in the backline, who is subdued. The slow is so absolutely strong. Dino, though, not going to die just quite yet, able to back off and continue the defense.
Yeah, actually something we saw in the fight that is very nice to see is, so yesterday we saw teams play combos or pick combos and then not play them, but this fight we see the Hanzo arrow into APOC, and we saw that it immediately led to a kill, so it's very nice to see that these stronger teams are actually picking combos and then actually using them.
Ooh, that's a Blessed Shield out onto Nazeebo right there, who will get Leap of Faith on out of the action. Dino chipping in some scatter arrows, stepping a little bit close to the members of Oxygen, but not so close as to die. Both teams, of course, having their level 13 talents at this point in the game. Masquerade likely aware that the siege camp was getting stolen, but Chili Mountain not able to do anything about it. Meanwhile, we have Dequaza chipping in with that split push pressure top lane, getting some damage. Dino interrupting Copenhagen's rotation, making sure that he can't mount as he goes to defend top. Masquerade going in on Bad Benny. Are we going to see everything chucked at him yet again? Iron Skin is used. Nick able to avoid the Dragon Arrow. Yasu actually coming out and getting hit by the Dragon Arrow. Nick able to avoid the spiders by Nazeebo is what I meant to say. Now Chili Mountain clearing out mid. Oxygen takes yet another siege camp, and they move forward to continue the push. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think the push here is gonna do too much. The blue team should be able to poke the hammer somewhat.
Well, we see Dino trying to poke out Hammer, but with that lifesteal and with the siege, just absolutely losing the trade right here. Nick about to get this whole fort as well with the addition of the Riptire, helping contribute to the siege damage. Here's a big Bad Benny flank, though, popping the Divine Shield. Dino gonna get Leap of Faith right on out of there, but that leaves Diablo high and dry. He's gonna be able to walk on out just barely. However, the push continues. Oxygen, they don't even need to kill the members of Chili Mountain. They merely need to be able to step up hard enough to enable Nick to keep stacking an absolutely comical amount of siege damage. Diablo charging in, gets polymorphed right away. Light Bomb going to connect onto Nick, who is in the middle of a zombie wall. Shockwave now finally finishing off Hammer for her first death of the game. Ultralisk dropping extremely low. Loot Horde actually walling off the members of Oxygen from making it to Ultralisk. Hasuab's looking for the kill, but he's got a lot more HP. Not able to find it. Masquerade backing out. Dequaza chasing in the middle of multiple members of Oxygen Esports. He's got a lot of HP to work with, pummeling through Bad Benny. Bad Benny forced to use the Iron Skin to get rid of the pummel slow. No members of Oxygen other than Nick will go down here, but overall a highly successful Oxygen push when you look at everything they were able to achieve. That went from a half HP fort to just a single tower with a sliver of HP.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common for a hammer comp after level 7 to turn into a protect the hammer comp, because hammer needs to be countered, and the blue team, they have the Nazeebo and the Hanzo, but it did not look like that's enough. It's interesting to see if that changes later, maybe with the Nazeebo 20 talent. But yeah, talking about the red team, I was actually fully expecting a Falling Sword to really double down on this protect the hammer, because hammer did not go for the cleanse herself, and the Brighton cleanse is kind of weird. And the blue team just has that much to seize. I was really expecting a Falling Sword to protect her more.
No falling sword gonna be chosen right here. Instead, looking for the more aggressive, more instantaneous, more proactive Blessed Shield. Oxygen coming out to a slight lead early on in the Shrine Guardians. They will take the first 10 unopposed, the first 13 unopposed, 15. And it continues to climb up in Oxygen's favor. Already halfway done with the objective before Chili Mountain picks up their first one finally now. Nick getting a bit of chip damage here. Masquerade and Ultralisk deep in the backline of Oxygen. We need the wide angle for this with how far apart these members are. Ultralisk going to immediately toss spiders on Hasuabs after the Riptire. Copenhagen is all in Dino's face, however, going to back off after getting Dino very low. Masquerade trying to shadow charge on out, gets jumped over the wall by Copenhagen, but Leap of Faith able to pull him on out of the action before Urel could hammer him into the backline. But now Oxygen completing this mid Punisher without really a hitch at all. Hasuabs and Bad Benny gonna clear out this top bruiser camp before a mid keep push.
I mean, that is what happens if you're that late. The blue team had like 20 skulls before the blue team even touched it, so the blue team had to find a fight. But the red team played it very well, did not put everyone on the shrine and just did not give a fight, so they got the shrine for free. And this push with hammer is really scary if the blue team dies now. This could definitely be game.
Nick continuing the push pressure right here, forcing out another Leap of Faith from Banana H, trying to save Dequaza, as it looks like the members of Chili Mountain just can't even touch this hammer at the moment. Hanzo able to get some long-range chip damage in right there. Masquerade forced to use the Soul Shield. Oh, there's the Blessed Shield coming out onto Ultralisk, followed up by the Concussion Mine. Ultralisk gets in the Ice Block, trying to buy some time. Dragon Arrow not able to provide enough peel necessary, and Oxygen gets the pick, meaning that this push will not stop. They still have a wave, they still have a hammer. That keep will go down, finished off by the Napalm Strike. And hey, who's to say we have to stop pushing? We still have 5v4. Let's just push somewhere else. Nick now going with this bottom wave that is so huge. Masquerade, though, hold on a second. Going on to Yasu. Hits the double stun combo in the backline. Yasu blink heals to the Riptire for the escape. Able to get on out of there. Riptire giving a little parting gift to Banana H as he heads on out. Now Copenhagen heading back towards bottom. Meanwhile, Nick getting so much siege damage. And just look at it, 140k in total throughout the course of this game. Nick continuing the bot lane pressure. Masquerade all the way over on the side. Nick continuing to get the siege damage here. Chili Mountain just now respawning on Ultralisk, who is heading here, but their bottom keep is dropping very, very low. Masquerade, oh, his shadow charge gets interrupted by the Johanna Condemned just as they were looking for the Apocalypse engage. Oxygen making out like bandits after taking out 2 keeps total, and it looks like they're just going to be able to turn around and walk away like nothing happened.
Yeah, so it is 18 versus 19, so Oxygen really should not be taking a fight or giving Chili Mountain the chance to find kills. So it's very good for them that they even managed to get both keeps. The second keep was very on the knife's edge, and only losing one isn't even a bad outcome here, because the blue team is not going to get stuff done with this.
Oh, absolutely. I'll trade one hero as long as it doesn't mean that we lose a bunch of stuff back. If it's just like a hero and we lose a fort in exchange for getting a bot keep, I'm doing that all day long. And now Oxygen going to have so much side lane pressure. Next objective will be top side, so the split pressure that's going to be on the base of Chili Mountain for the rest of this game with these catapults. Meanwhile, Oxygen going to be pushing so hard with hammer, as we've already seen. The map pressure absolutely huge. Hanzo does land a full scatter onto Nick right there, thanks to piercing arrows off of the gate. Not able to get anything out of it, and now bot fort for Oxygen is the first major building taken by Chili Mountain the entire game. Meanwhile, the whole time this has been going on, Hasuabs just split pushing top, utilizing the Ripper Air to escape after getting a bit of the push pressure right here. And this next keep is also, this next Punisher also going to threaten onto the keep. Level 20 is now achieved for Oxygen. Massive team fight damage increase with that Ultra Capacitors for Nick.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the blue team is going to reach 20 for this objective in time, because as we saw last objective already, if the red team has a 20 skull lead, the blue team cannot play the shrine straight up, and the red team is going to have that skull lead.
Oh, Bad Benny taking the Dragon Arrow, able to avoid getting stunned by it though, as they did have the Iron Skin Apocalypse coming out, and now 4 ults down on the side of Chili Mountain. Oxygen also missing a lot of their ults now, however, both teams with the level 20 overall. Oxygen getting some early Shrine clear. Masquerade forced to back all the way back to base, meaning that CM will simply not be able to contest this, and instead, with the double camp mid here, 4 Khazra camp total, 4 Khazra units total, gonna go ahead and just get some pressure onto this mid fort, which will subsequently lead to pressure onto mid keep, just trying to get any value that they can while knowing that this objective will not go their way. They're gonna get some passive pressure, gonna clear out these lanes, nullify that passive catapult pressure, and get this siege camp pushing down this mid keep, trying to distract Oxygen. Oxygen, meanwhile, stealing the Bruiser camp from Chili Mountain.
Yeah, also the Nazeebo is in a very funny situation because he has 150 stacks, so he does not have enough for a while. But his ult is also on cooldown for 30 seconds. So yeah, he went for the ult upgrade, but there is a chance he just loses the game before he gets another ult.
Riptire coming in from Hasuabs will explode onto Dayquaza. Oxygen now continuing the push here in top lane. They still have that double siege camp pressuring their mid keep, but they're thinking about the possibility of getting this third keep, and if they can get any kills the game. Nick actually continuing to step forward right here, still looking for the chip damage. Masquerade hellgating over the wall, trying to find the stun combo onto Masquerade, onto Nick rather, getting interrupted with the polymorph. Apocalypse comes out, flips Hasuabs out of his own Apocalypse. Masquerade slamming Hasuabs into the wall now. Condemn going to be denied by Banana H's Leap of Faith, pulling Masquerade out. Dayquaza is very isolated though, caught out by Oxygen, who still could not give a single hoot about those siege camps in their mid lane. They want to see if they can end the game.
Yeah, I mean, the siege camp in mid is going to get cleared by catapults anyway, so that's not a concern. And now with the hammer on the core, this is going to be very hard for the blue team to stop, and they're likely going to have to throw a last desperate fight. Yeah.
Masquerade able to successfully wallbang the Sergeant Hammer into the Nazeebo zombie wall. That interaction does work, but it doesn't lead to much. Dino now very, very isolated, able to natural agility on away from the members of Oxygen Esports, who simply are not going anywhere. Dayquaza still 22 seconds away from respawning. The push continues. Riptire not actually able to explode before dying right there. And 13 seconds until Dayquaza is up. Core starting to take damage by Chili Mountain. Masquerade delivering the light bomb. There's the Dragon Arrow for follow-up as well. Nick taking some damage, gonna boost her on away right out of there. Masquerade forced to Leap of Faith out by Banana H. 15% off of the core of Chili Mountain. Bullseye from Dino onto Hasuabs, but Oxygen's gotten everything they want. They're simply going to leave. The passive pressure that they have is absolutely massive. All 3 lanes with catapults, even a fort in topside for Oxygen. So the rest of the game, Chili Mountain just forced to spend so much time clearing lanes is going to lead to massive advantages in wave clear, in rotations, in vision control, in everything for Oxygen.
Yeah, but Chili Mountain still has a chance to come back, and that's the nice thing, because Chili Mountain just needs a single good fight, and if they kill enough people, they shred through buildings. Nazeebo, especially with Q-Build, has pretty good siege damage.
Ooh, there's the bullseye coming out from Dino onto Bad Benny. Not going to catch him in the zombie wall, however, thanks to that move speed right there from the Condemn at level 7. Now Chili Mountain taking an unopposed siege camp here in this bottom side of the map. Here we see Oxygen now backing off toward their own Bruiser camp right here, going to get the successful clear. Chili Mountain, you'll see this a lot, having to step back and clear this pressure onto their lanes. It is going to be an omnipresent force for the rest of this match. Oxygen just adding salt to the wound, contributing to that split push pressure with the Bruiser camp top, and this really is do or die for Chili Mountain in this game.
I mean, the situation wasn't even just the pressure from the minions, but the red team also, all of them hit off the map. So the blue team had to assume that the red team might backdoor any moment on top, so they had to base purely just for that.
Speaking of
like
backdoors, Nick camping right here. The minion wave didn't see him for a moment, but he does start to hit it. The members of Chili Mountain now contesting this objective. We do see Ultralisk heading back to base in the bottom left corner of your screen right there, and on the mini-map, Ultralisk gonna try and deny Nick the value on the core, while the rest of the members of Oxygen look at this objective. We're gonna take another look at the 20s right here, just so we can be reminded what is present. Nazeebo's got his work cut out for him, gonna be forced to sit back in base. Meanwhile, Hammer's coming back in. Dragon Arrow lands onto Copenhagen, who does receive the Yasuo blink heal. Yasuo able to dodge the Apocalypse with blink heal. Now Masquerade running out of this fight. Dino getting big damage on the sideline with those scattering arrows. Infinite spin set up by the Hogger, meanwhile, trying to contribute to this shrine clear. Diablo is next to Hearth and be forced to clear base at the moment. This is 5v4 on this objective in favor of Oxygen, but Chili Mountain is clearing it faster with the Hogger. Chili Mountain only needs 5 more Guardians. Urel popping the Ardent Defender. Nazeebo in the Ice Wall. Shockwave not going to land onto Copenhagen. Ultralisk will fall 5v4 in favor of Oxygen Esports, but Chili Mountain takes the Punisher. Oh, stun on Hasuwabs into the wall by Dequaza. The wall bang exactly when they need it. Chili Mountain going to be forced to send somebody back. I don't see any Hearths just quite yet, but they have catapults and camps on their waves. Dequaza now going to be sent back, but Bad Benny is simply playing to interrupt the Hearths. Oxygen's just not letting the members of Chili Mountain go back. Finally, they are going to get some Hearths right here. Waves not quite all the way at core yet, so no core damage being taken just quite yet. Hold on a second, though. Bad Benny still fighting Dino, going to back off right here. Masquerade looking for this fight up top side. Oh wow, Yasuo dodging the Dragon Arrow with the reaction time on the blink heal. What a play. Chili Mountain not pushing with the Punisher even in the slightest, not going to get that mid keep, only getting some damage on it. And the situation for Chili Mountain does not look any better than it did just a moment ago before this Punisher.
Yeah, I mean, I think they found the first kill in the fight. And they won the Punisher, and they still weren't able to even get the keep with it. So it shows that if they want to have a chance at winning the game, they have to decisively win a fight. So yeah, the red team really has to give them that decisive fight.
Dequaza and Ultralisk looking for the flank onto Nick. Nick repositioning mid-fight, not going to get caught by it, but Hasuwabs is the huge damage pressure of the Dynamite, followed up by the level 20 Ravenous Spirit. It just hits so hard. Nick going to receive a phase shift now. Chili Mountain after having picked off Hasuwabs, but Dequaza dies in response thanks to a timely hammer by Copenhagen, pushing him back in, getting that Templar's Verdict percentage damage and the armor shred. Oxygen not 100% sure what Chili Mountain is doing. Chili Mountain backing off, forced to clear their base. So maybe they could have inferred that, knowing where the minion waves were placed. Oxygen now going for this siege camp in bot side and stepping up, continuing the pressure right here. Bad Benny securing vision of this. Oxygen, knowing Nazeebo is in base for Chili Mountain, knows they can take this camp no problem. Oh, hold on. Chili Mountain's going to contest despite having the 4v5 with Nazeebo in base. Now Masquerade being yanked on out of there. Bad Benny has Blessed Shield, uses it on cooldown on Dino to set up the kill. Dino with the melee range Dragon Arrow trying to save his life, but it's not going to be enough. Now Oxygen, knowing that they've got a 4-on-3 temporarily, it's about to be a 4-on-4 because Hasuwab's only just now respawning after that earlier pickoff. Masquerade gonna get hit by Templar's Verdict right here, but the push continues as Oxygen is about to be 4-on-4 here in base.
I mean, there is like 3 or 4 catapults here, so this should be game now. The blue team is not going to be able to stop Hammer, even if Diablo had a soul respawn instead of a full respawn.
Apocalypse now being used by Masquerade, is able to flip Brightwing into it, but it's not going to set up a kill with Hanzo and Hogger both dead. Chili Mountain missing such vital tools. The map pressure is insurmountable. Oxygen, after such a well-played game this entire time, losing only 2 forts and taking out every single structure on the side of Chili Mountain, taking game 1 versus CM.
Yeah, this was a very nice game to look at. This wasn't a shit show. This wasn't a sandbagging. This was really a nice, high-level, very well-played game. I'm very curious to see the stats on how well the Nazeebo did, because that was a bit hard to gauge. So yeah, a lot of XP, so he was spending a lot of time on the map. Considering that his hero damage isn't even bad, he outdamaged the Junkrat, who matched him for a lot of the time. It did not seem like it countered the hammer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I continually see versus Oxygen, is if you're playing the hammer right, and especially if you're abusing the advanced artillery plus regenerative biosteel, these are characters that can poke Hammer down and whittle her down over time. But if Hammer's just getting massive lifesteal value in addition to her own healer healing her up, because we consistently see Nick pressuring those side lanes, right? And Nick knows that he always has his healer with him, so to speak, because Yasu can teleport to him and help him out whenever he gets ganked. And it just creates the situation where, yes, you have two long-range DPSs in Nazeebo and Hanzo, and people might think of these as just shutting down a Hammer, but we saw right there Nick just doing whatever he wanted, miles ahead of the competition in both siege damage and hero damage right there. What a game, what a performance by Oxygen. I can't help but think that there is no way they get the Hammer again going into game 2.
I mean, there is a chance that Chili Mountain might just let them have Hammer a second time and maybe try a second Hammer counter.
Just as a form of practice?
Yeah, I think that they definitely could view these games like that, because this doesn't matter for Chili Mountain.
Even if Chili Mountain gets absolutely wrecked right here, their first place position in the standings is still 100% secure. Remember that a team gets 3 points if they win their series 2-0. Oxygen currently 8 points behind Chili Mountain. It is impossible for Chili Mountain to be dethroned from position number 1 at this point in the game right here. Let's take another look at that scoreboard. I'll bring it back up for you folks while we wait for our final lobby of the game, which is actually up. Let's go see what map we're going to be playing on.
If we had had a bit more time, I would have wanted to talk about one more talent. That's interesting, because we saw an interesting Hammer 16, and specifically
mechanical know-how. Yeah, Oxygen loves that one.
Yeah, I know that they love it, but it's specifically interesting because there is a Diablo on the other team who is one of the highest health characters in the game. So I was wondering if this was where we might see an adaptation back to the more old school Giant Killer. But I guess even in this situation, they value this talent more.
Yeah, the survivability of mechanical know-how is just so absolutely massive that, to me, as Hammer, I feel like I only take Executioner if I feel like I'm 100% free autoing in fights, you know, like if I, because it's just purely an offensive upgrade, whereas getting an extra 20% max HP shield from mechanical know-how, in addition to plus damage, is just a super nice boost right there. And we have the map information for you here, folks. The final game of the series, the final game of the entirety of Masters Clash group stage, is going to be on Towers of Doom. This was chosen by Chili Mountain, so Oxygen will have first pick.
Yeah, so Towers of Doom, usually a very interesting map at high level. Tends to go fairly late unless one team stomps. Very good Hammer map again. Hammer just sitting in the bot lane for most of the game. We even saw other teams play Hammer here, so this is definitely a map where Oxygen would go for it, so we will see if Chili Mountain wants to play into it and counter it, or if they just ban it.
I think that it really just comes down to, are they trying, I think if you're Chili Mountain and you really just want to win this specific game, I think there's no way you let the Hammer through. But I do think that if you're trying to practice against the Hammer and trial different things and see if you can beat it out, then you do let it through and you say, okay, that counter didn't work, let's try something else. Let's experiment in this almost sort of forced scrim environment that we have right here. Almost all players available here in this game, waiting for the fifth player of Chili Mountain to get in here, and we can watch game number 2 of series number 4. Remember that 1 week after this, right at the start of June, we're going to see the Masters Clash Gauntlet, and then after Gauntlet, a month after that, will be the finale, the LAN played in France. Teams definitely thinking about what they're going to do and how to best prepare for the Gauntlet and for LAN.
Yeah, I mean, specifically the Gauntlet is going to be interesting for me, because the first series of that already is going to be my team, so definitely have some practice lined up this week, but I mean, there's no realistic chance to be fourth, so we're just going to play one series, maybe 2, and just wing it, just have a bit of fun.
Hey, you always got to try and just give it your best, and you never know what's going to happen. I look forward to seeing what you guys are able to do in the Gauntlet, and it looks like we have all 10 players in the lobby right here for Towers of Doom, just waiting on the final go-ahead from each team, and we can get into this draft. Let's see, waiting on it, neither team responding to the call, asking if they're ready to go. Oxygen is ready, just waiting on the final word from Chili Mountain. Chili Mountain. I wonder, do you know, Fish, is anybody streaming their perspective? Do any Twitch chat know if anybody on the side of Chili Mountain is streaming their perspective?
So Chili Mountain, I don't think so. I think sometimes Dino streams them, but I don't think he's streaming right now. I can see that from Oxygen that there is Hazu and Nick, but yeah, I don't think anyone from Chili Mountain.
Okay. Yeah, because
I think that especially when Chili Mountain loses games, then they like to have a bit of a talk about probably how to look forward, maybe talk about what went wrong.
certainly something valid to consider. Just what can you do? And Chili Mountain is indeed ready to go. We're gonna get moving forward here. Gonna get started. Ariel Tank comp, please. Hey, I've won an NGS multiple times with Ariel Tank. I don't think we're gonna see anybody pull it out right here. But it was very fun just running Cav's weird mad scientist drafts that did actually work sometimes. And now going into this Towers of Doom game, Oxygen with first pick, feeling great after that solid hammer victory in game number 1. Just really feeling in control, in the driver's seat for the majority of that game. We'll see if that same energy and momentum carries over into game number 2.
Yeah, so the early draft is going to tell a lot of how this is going to be. Yeah, so the Blaze ban, I think that Oxygen might have banned Blaze every game, purely because they might go Hammer, and Blaze just shuts Hammer down so hard. Yeah, Lucio, there's still Yasu, completely expected.
Yep, with Blaze, I think of two critical components. You've got the nanomachine coating slowing down the Hammer, as well as the Crossfire. Hammer, a very natural target for that big burst damage by Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, also if you want to dive the Hammer, it is really nice to be able to get into a bunker and duck out of her damage.
Yep, always just being able to actually trade into it. A bunker, one of the few things that can actually step up and trade damage into Hammer. Hasuab's going to be first picking Junkrat again after having done so in the previous series right there, locking it in. We'll see how much of these drafts are relatively samey to last time versus new innovations and adjustments. Chili Mountain gonna see what their answer is to the first pick Junkrat right here. What's going on? Johanna Brightwing. Two fairly solid picks that don't show too much about what Chili Mountain is holding in store right here. Oxygen going to be forced to commit to 3 members of their draft, 3 heroes picked, without really telling what Chili Mountain's plans exactly are.
I mean, we did see the Johanna Brightwing rotation last game, but we saw it from Oxygen in 2-3. So who knows, maybe Chili Mountain is now going for the Hammer comp with that.
All right, Mom said it's my turn on the Sergeant Hammer.
I don't think I've seen it from Chili Mountain, though.
It's certainly a hero where you have to understand what's going on, both at an individual Hammer player level, but also at a team-wide level as well. Right there, I don't think a team could just pick it up without having practiced it, but it certainly would be amazing if they were to reveal that. But I also think that if CM had Hammer up their sleeve, they'd probably be concealing that for later in the tourney, if at all possible. Falstad going to be banned away right there, not wanting the Falstad to round out the DPS for Oxygen. I want to see what this ban is and if it's still something that might be indicative of a Hammer pick, because I don't put it past Oxygen to just run it again and just pick it a second time in a row.
I mean, they definitely still could. I strongly expect the blue team to pick Dehaka in the next 2 picks, because they already have 1 global, they ban Falstad. They might just look for the 3rd global now, or well, to have 2 out of the 3 globals. you can just kind of dogpile on a hammer if you have enough Globus. So.
Yep, hammer can be a target as well. We'll see right there. What are we going to see from Chili Mountain? That's a Lost Vikings, and they take the hammer. Let's go! And
Yeah,
Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. Let's go, Chili Mountain. No, you don't need to ban the hammer if you're picking it for yourselves. They're going to have a very strong 4-man here with Johanna Brightwing Hammer. Brightwing maybe going to be able to negate ganks on some of those Vikings if Oxygen decides to pick them off, but expect to see strong 4-man pressure right here from the members of Chili Mountain. And Oxygen, they themselves run so much hammer. Let's see if they can stop it as they pick Genji Anubarak to round out their draft.
Yeah, this is also very interesting to me because I remember Kav talking about if you want to see the hammer counters, pick it into Oxygen. So I'm very curious to see the Genji Anub as the 2 picks that they went for this time. Because this could very well be that these are the 2 heroes that are good into hammer. It could also be that these are just 2 heroes to not show these counters. So I'm curious if it's going to be that or not.
Hey, Dino! Picking up the Tracer as well. I will say that if I had the opportunity to play Tracer into this enemy draft, I would be quite excited with it, as I would feel very unthreatened by them. And I've just really been wanting to see Dino. This whole last series has been a treat so far. We get to see Oxygen pull out the hammer, not getting banned. We get to see CM pull out the hammer right back, and we get to see Dino finally playing the Tracer. He's been not picking it, it's been getting banned, but now we finally get to see just so much in this last game of Group Stage 4 Masters Clash right here. I thought we might, I was a little bit worried we might see some boring games because, you know, end of the season teams don't care, they don't want to show anything, but no, this is spicy coming into this series right here. Woo! I just want to get through load screen. I want to see how this is going to play out within these 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this game could really coin flip out of control very quickly. If the hammer team gets ahead, I think there is a good chance they just steamroll the bottom side so hard that the game ends fairly quickly. And similarly, if the hammer comp falls behind, it can also be rough for them. So I hope that this is also a good game like last game and it goes very late, but who knows?
If there's any map where you might expect things to go very late, this is the one for it. As on the left side of your screen, playing for Chili Mountain, we see Daquaza on the Lost Vikings. Masquerade going to be playing that Johanna. Dino on Tracer! Let's see it, bud! Ultralisk going to be played by Sergeant Hammer, and Banana H on the Brightwing. Who do we have for Oxygen Esports, Fish?
We have Benny on Anub, we have Nick on Genji, we have Yasu on Anduin, we have Hazu on Junkrat, and we have Kokum on Direl.
Stepping up forward here by Oxygen Esports. Everybody's got their level 1 locked in. And I really want to point out something in particular by Dino. Dino opting for the Tracer rounds. Tracer rounds, a talent that really benefits your ability to play that hyper carry auto attacker playstyle. You do sacrifice some early game pick potential. Wow, Brightwing already getting picked off right there. Banana H dying midair. A little bit of skeet shooting from Hasu Ubs right there coming out. And wait, Eric also dying as well at the same time. And Masquerade and Dino looking for a little bit of mid-clear right here. But as I was saying just a moment ago, Dino with that Tracer rounds really benefits your late game pressure, your late game ability to be an auto attack hyper carry. But even in the early game, if you're into such positive matchups as what the Tracer has this game, really just increases your ability to bully enemy players as both teams get started with their sapper camps.
Yeah, there's also a second talent that I would point out here that's a bit offbeat, and that is Genji went for the E talent on 1, so he went for the move speed after the E. Recently we've seen a lot of Genjis play the trade on 1 and trade on 7, so it's very interesting to see this E on 1. So my assumption is that he's also going to pick E on 4 and he's just going to E on the hammer every time, so it's looking more like it is the legit anti-Genji tech. No, anti-hammer tech.
The anti-Genji tech, he counters himself. One thing that I think is also going to be crucial in this matchup as well is Genji going Shingon at level 13. Hammer, a relatively slow and large target, is going to be an extremely easy hit for those triple hit Qs right there. Oxygen so far with a nice healthy half-level lead, but again, Tracer with this build in particular not contributing too much in the early game. Expect to see her come online later when she gets that jumper and she gets that ricochet. As Olaf dropping down in mid lane, Hasuabs does eat the pulse bomb from Dino. He's not looking too worried about it though. Feels like setting himself into the air going whippy. I guess yippee, not it was whoopee or yippee, but not whippy. As we now see Nick trading a bit of damage with Dino and Oxygen heading down towards the bot side of the map. A lot of spider mines in the bush right here.
Yeah, I mean, probably Hammer doesn't really
they're all going to
use
get
much
eaten by the
for
locusts. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Sorry, what were you saying, Fish?
No, I wonder if that's intentional, because beetle scouting is a thing where you stand outside of a bush and you know the beetle is going to walk into the bush. So I was going to say specifically into Anoop, I wouldn't always put the mines into the bush. But I guess he doesn't agree. We also see Hammer not going for the lifesteal this game, but the Unstoppable, so that's already a departure from last game. So interesting how that's going to work out.
Yep, Hammer going to be played a little bit different. I know Oxygen has a very strong favor for that regenerative biosteel, but not afraid to go siege mechanics when it makes some sense. Sorry, siege tactics right there for the Sergeant Hammer, able to give herself that unstoppable in this game as the members of both teams start to cycle down into bot lane. Hasuab's gonna get the interrupt with the Junkrat grenade, trying to find more, but Masquerade interrupting it, and Eric will die on rotation to Genji. So far, a couple Vikings deaths have been picked up right here, 3 in total in the first 4 minutes of the game. Both team sappers are alive. Nick, though, hold on a second. Nick gonna die thanks to the rotation. Brightwing and Tracer all of a sudden just jumping in on him right there. Polymorphed in mid lane, Dino blinking onto the trap.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. I thought that the Genji Tracer matchup was mostly Genji favored, but I guess Genji used a lot on the Vikings, and the Brightwing coming in is just unfair. Like, let me have my honorable 1v1.
They don't respect the sanctity of the honorable duel, the 1v1. Indeed, just like the sanctity of the offlane, of course, as now both teams clearing out bot side. Chili Mountain taking their own sappers. After Oxygen took theirs, 3 sappers for Oxygen stepping up right here. Does not look like they'll be able to make it all the way to the wall. Now, Copenhagen also pushing in pretty heavily on top side. Does have the entire top gate down and getting some good pressure onto Baylog. Meanwhile, Oxygen coming in for the gank onto mid. Not able to find anything. They're just going to get a little bit of clear right here while Hasuabs clears out bot lane and defends against this push.
I'm not sure that the red team is going to be in time to stop the siege camp. Yeah, the rotation mid actually cost them their wall there.
Wow.
So I don't know if that was... Well?
Well, this is the thing about pressing up against these Vikings, as Masquerade actually taking a lot of damage here in bot lane. Will go down. Nick jumping over the wall does have to use the cyber agility to get out right there. But one thing you have to be acutely aware of is that with the Vikings anywhere on the map, Brightwing is always a threat literally anywhere. And here we see Dino able to just flex how Tracer's always able to free auto attack a Nubarak very safely without too much concern about taking damage in return. Olaf gonna cap the Chili Mountain top left altar. Oxygen, Bad Betty would love to get this while they're down 10. It does not look like Chili Mountain even going to attempt an invade or an interrupt right there. Hasuabs now backing off a bit as well, heading down towards bot side. And, oh, this is pulse rounds. So, chat, when you see a Tracer go leeching rounds, or Tracer rounds into pulse rounds, don't go leeching rounds at 4. Talent's awful. But if you see a Tracer go Tracer rounds into pulse rounds at 1 and 10, that means that this Tracer is fully investing into the team fight. They are going to be a late game hyper carry team fight at the cost of some of their gank effectiveness and at the cost of some of their early game power, which makes perfect sense. It's a late game map and she's against Urel, one of the most ungankable offlaners, so invest fully into the late game auto attacking, meaning that I fully guarantee you Dino will go jumper at level 13 and Ricochet at 16, and if he doesn't, he's mega trolling out of his mind. Somehow Sergeant Hammer dying in bot lane to Oxygen. I'm just too excited to talk about the Tracer. I'm not even noticing stuff right there. Good job by Oxygen picking up their 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, there's also, looking at the ults, there's a lot more interesting I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff. For example, we see Hammer going for the burst option and not the slow damage option, which is pretty much the opposite of what Tracer is trying to do. We see Johanna going for the Blessed Shield, which is also the burst option, and not the protect option, which they might have again looked for, especially against all the CC that the red team is bringing. So that's interesting. It seems a bit like a disconnect of shot to me.
The way I see it, Ricochet can help burst because you do so much damage that it just gets people within burstable windows. You know what I mean? Like you're doing so much extra chip damage that you're getting people within the range that they can be executed by burst damage. There is an interesting statement to be said there, especially Tracer, because you're a hero that provides sustained damage as well as sudden burst damage. Now Pulse Bomb very far off by Dino, but it still would have interrupted Hasuab's turn in. And right there, Ultralisk getting aggressed on by Copenhagen does hammer both Brightwing and Hammer in the back line. Meanwhile, Eric looking for the capture will get interrupted by Junkrat topside. In the meantime, Copenhagen now heading towards this middle objective. 13s have been secured by the members of Chili Mountain. Ultralisk looking for the capture, gonna get interrupted by Bad Benny. Bad Benny forced to charge on out. Banana H now successfully gonna be able to complete this capture. Meanwhile, Copenhagen getting interrupted by Dino and Dequaza. Both of them in there. Copenhagen jumping over the wall, and the fight continues. Oxygen still down level 13, and the Vikings soaking the whole time. Oh, there's a cocoon going out onto Tracer. Tracer, of course, always one of the best cocoon targets for Nubarak on the enemy team, unless she can dodge it with recall. Banana H now being aggressed onto by Nick as well. The X-Strike goes all the way onto Ultralisk. Banana dropping very, very low in the back. Copenhagen looking for the execute, not able to find it. Full level lead for Chili Mountain as these Vikings just continue to soak the side lanes. If you're Chili Mountain, you want to see if you can extend this fight forever as the Vikings just continue to get the side soak. Blessed Shield coming out onto Yasu. Yasu will fall to the blunt force gun of the Sergeant Hammer. Now Tracer stepping forward. Dino missing the pulse bomb right there, not able to find it, but Chili Mountain coming out looking very, very strong, getting all that soak and getting the objective.
Yeah, it's almost a bit weird to me that Oxygen at no point thought that they should go back on the map, that they just let the Vikings get that full level, because before the objective phase was up, it was the XP was very equal. So this is almost a level, or even 1.5 levels that we see out of this one objective.
Now we see Dino bullying Urel up in this side lane, and you can just see Tracer able to do a ridiculous amount of free damage into this draft by Oxygen. Such a threat right there. You can really see just the ability of a last pick Tracer to punish drafts in this game. Look at the hero damage, 27.4k right there, and that's before Ricochet is even coming online. Now Oxygen looking for the rotation on the mid side if they can find it. Nick hitting a big deflect into some Tracer hits right there. Copenhagen trying to kill Urel, not able to find it. Chili Mountain wants to take their own sapper camp right here. Oxygen may be thinking about an invade to get an even Talontier fight. Oh, here's the pressure on to Ultralisk right there. Nick getting big damage, especially with that Shingon dropping most of his HP. Recall not going to be used to dodge the cocoon. Bad Benny able to get Dino caught. BFG and Blessed Shield both coming out from the members of Chili Mountain, who do cede their sapper camp over to the members of Oxygen, but are going to get 16 here soon in time for this objective. Successful kill by the members of Oxygen onto Olaf in that mid lane, but Chili Mountain still 16 just around the corner.
Yeah, it's not looking that good for Oxygen. They're a level behind. They even in core shots they're behind pretty significantly. They're not even close to losing the game, but it's starting to get uncomfortable. The blue team has insanely strong 20s.
Yep, things need to start turning right for Oxygen sooner or later, as Bad Benny getting absolutely deleted by the combined Hammer and Tracer pressure. We do indeed see Ricochet. Dino, you have not failed me today. Well done with the 16 talent choice. And recall right there as Nick pressures out. That's a Blessed Shield setting up the kill onto Nick, and likely Yasu soon to follow. There it is, a triple kill for the members of Chili Mountain. Now pressuring onto this bottom bell tower right here, getting that chip damage. Oxygen with 3 dead, surely not going to be able to hold it. And look at this, Baylog also getting top bell tower for Chili Mountain in what's looking like a dominant performance to close out the season.
Wait, is it 6 capable? Mid? Oh, mid is actually against for a hammer comp. That's takeable. Wait, this could be over.
Urel trying to get in here and run some interference, looking for those hammer hits. The mid bell tower will go down, completing the 6 cap. Urel not even able to finish off the Olaf right there, and passive core damage now starting to go out onto the core of Oxygen, just trying to get this back. Genji using that Shingon to help contribute on the defense right here. We already see Baylog contributing to the sapper pressure. The map, I just think that Vikings, honestly, Vikings, this is why I banned them on this map. You watch my stream, I'm on towers, I banned Vikings on this map. The ability to soak everything and contest every altar is it's just, it really makes your blood boil trying to play against it on this map. Oxygen able to temporarily stop the bleeding right here, thinking about wondering if CM is on this boss. They are not. Oxygen almost has their mid bell tower back. Copenhagen gonna go ahead and finish it off right there. So only one bell tower of Oxygen's being held by Chili Mountain at the moment. This is an equal talent tier fight that is shaping up to happen right here. Chili Mountain taking their sappers before this next objective in this triple altar phase, which is the strongest of the phases for Lost Vikings teams, given their ability to pressure the entire map simultaneously. Bad Benny now going in onto Daquaza. Daquaza's Baylog will fall. This is, of course, a play again Vikings, though, so those Vikings can respawn as the fight starts to shape up right here near top altar.
Yeah, very early Riptire. It's just going to be used for an interrupt.
Oh, there we see Light Bomb Genji into the X-Strike as well, onto the Sergeant Hammer. Copenhagen also trying to jump in and get some damage out. Dino, meanwhile, just absolutely shredding through Bad Benny's HP bar. Not much he can do in response. Dino just chip damaging everybody. Vikings play again in that backside. They do have Nordic Attack Squad, so they are a significant damage threat. Bad Benny goes absolutely pop. Ardent Defender popped by Urel in that left side of the fight as they try to pressure onto Ultraless. Copenhagen now turning tail and running. Daquaza trying to get the altar cap, but will get interrupted and fall. Copenhagen is next to die on the side of Oxygen, following Bad Benny in that regard. Chili Mountain about to achieve level 20. If Oxygen's going to make anything happen, never mind. There it is, right there. Was that Sappers? What happened?
No, it was the left bell tower, no?
I completely missed that. I was just so caught up in the action. I don't.
I mean, that's the annoying thing about the Viking comp. While the foreman is just brawling, there's a Viking on the other two objectives. So.
No, Vikings, I routinely banned them on this map because they are unreasonable to play against. Oh my gosh, the pressure. Such a perfect draft for Tracer to just absolutely carry team fights in this game. Sergeant Hammer able to do whatever she wanted, utilizing Oxygen's own weapons against them after losing to the Hammer in game number 1. The Viking pressure, absolutely ridiculous. No member of Chili Mountain dying more than once. Tracer not even dying at all. So much push pressure everywhere. Dominant game 2 by Chili Mountain, but ultimately a 1-1 performance between these two teams. Sergeant Hammer undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer is a disgusting hero, and Hammer needs a counter, and apparently this wasn't it, or maybe the counter was just not executed properly, who knows? But yeah, I guess we're not going to see a lot of Hammer in the Gauntlet. That's just going to be banned if a team plays it.
Dino, you picked the correct talent at every single talent tier. You are one of the 1% of Tracer players who do this in competitive. Hats off to you. Well done. Oxygen. Oof, I really thought they would perform better against the Hammer, given so much experience playing as the Hammer. But no, I really think that, you know, that's only one part of the comp. There are 3 different characters that all get massive value this game. Tracer into the free draft, Vikings on such an insane Vikings map, and also so good at enabling a strong 4-man, and that strong 4-man is so strong because Tracer's good this game, and because Hammer is Hammer. Just absolutely insane by the members of CM. Well done to snipe that away and even up this series. What a way to end Masters Clash group stage.
I mean, to be fair, Oxygen gave Chili Mountain 2 fights being a talent down. They took a 12v13 fight that cost them the bottom fort, and they took that 15v16 fight that I think got them 6 cap. So against Vikings, you feel like you're a bit in a checkmate position, and I think the DPS of Chili Mountain mostly look good because they once they got this level lead, they just they turn into stat sticks and they just roll over. But I think the hero that's to credit for this is the Vikings, because I think that's what really took Oxygen out here, that they did not deal with the macro pressure properly.
Oh, absolutely massive pressure right there from those Vikings. Do you know